Welcome back to Wake Up with D. Call in with your questions or comments at 404-726-1380 on News and Talk WAOK.
And we're back. You're waking up with D on News and Talk WAOK, the voice of the community. And we have a special guest on the line with us today. We have with us the Honorable Councilwoman Helen Zenobia Willis, a founding leader of... Good morning. How are you this morning? Let me read a little bit about your bio. She's a founding leader of the city of South Fulton, who helped bring Georgia's third largest city into existence. She's a graduate of Savannah State University and a professional accountant. She has been elected 3 times to the South Fulton City Council, where she built a reputation as a strong advocate for working families and local communities. She sponsored landmark legislation to prevent ICE detention facilities from locating in South Fulton and has been a leading voice for public safety, economic opportunity, and quality of life issues. She's a devoted wife and a mother in a blended family, is now seeking to continue her public service on the Fulton County Commission. Good morning again, Councilwoman Helen Zenobia Willis. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just well. We can hear you.
Good. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you could be with us this morning. So tell us why the voters should go out this morning and vote for you to be the Fulton County Commissioner.
Look, we don't have, in an environment where we have MAGA Republicans threatening our democracy, threatening our health care services, threatening our voting rights, we need to send someone to this county commission who has experience, who has tenacity, and who has the vigor to advocate for residents here on the South Side, where we have a lot of disparities. We have health disparities. We have senior services that are needed. That's our fastest growing population, and we have a lack of affordable housing for seniors. We have a lot of food insecurity issues because we have food deserts. Our libraries need to be, improved and modernized. The justice system is in peril. We need to make sure that we are funding the justice system, but more importantly, making sure that they are diverting in every instance that they can. And we need to make sure our voting rights are protected. And so starting as a volunteer decades ago in the Fulton Democratic Party and the South Fulton Democratic Party, and I'm currently a state committee member, I started from the ground up. I have a multitude of experience, not only as an elected official legislating policy, but just understanding the issues, understanding our plight here in the South Fulton region.
So let me ask you a question, because you have a multitude of experience. What's some of the projects that you would like to take from, things you worked on in city council and maybe expanding it to the entire Fulton County?
Sure. And so I've already been doing the work. One of the things that I have consistently worked with our current commissioner on, who endorses me, Commissioner Marvin Arrington, is making sure that our teams are trained for jobs and they get jobs, especially when they're out of school. We've done that work for 8 years. And on the county level, he has advocated to incentivize employers to hire our teams. That's the quickest way to divert our teams from getting into trouble and to prevent these team takeovers. We need them to take over jobs. The other thing that I have done as a sitting council member is bring access to health care. They are building a hospital. Well, one is already open, but it's going to be done in 3 phases. The emergency room part is open, but consistently I've had to bring in access to health care and host health fairs. That is a county service. Addressing food insecurity. On the onset of COVID, I partnered and created a program called Feeding the City. And Feeding the City, where we partner with food banks, several food banks, Hosea Feed the Hungry, the Atlanta Food Bank, to make sure people were fed. Not only during COVID, we continued that program here in the city of South Fulton, but we, as a county commissioner, I want to make sure that we address it comprehensively, where we are encouraging people to do community gardens, because we realized that during COVID, food was scarce. and we depending on the food and supply chain. And one of the things we need to do is encourage people to bring community gardens back and grow their own food for several reasons, for health and for sustainability. The other thing is youth. The violence, stopping the violence. I partner with the Fulton County District Attorney, the Fulton County Sheriff, the Fulton County Marshal to make sure that we are encouraging our youth to take alternatives to violence and encouraging them to stay out of trouble. So I have partnered every year with them to host, along with the Links for Change and our clerk of Superior Court. And that's why they all trust me and they want me in this role, because they know I've already been doing the work. And as a policymaker, I understand that funding is needed for them to do their job. And we also need to make sure that we are legislating policies for the good of the people. Lastly, let's talk about elections. I've been working in the Democratic Party as a state committee member for over a decade. And so I started off with volunteering, educating people to vote and registering people to vote as a deputy registrar. And so, that's also the responsibility of a Fulton County Commissioner. We oversee the Fulton County government, not the commission, but we are responsible for funding elections and making sure that we have the right people appointed to those Fulton County Board of Elections board. And so I've been doing the work for decades. My decade of service started over a decade ago. And so a lot of the work, even though I was elected as a municipal a council member to govern municipal budgets, I've also extended my work to make sure that we're taking care of people that also mainly need county services. People come from all over the county to my health and wellness events, to my teen job fairs. Also, at the community outreach events that I have, we make sure we always incorporate Fulton County Board of Elections so they can register people, educate people, and make sure that they are reminding people to vote.
Okay, you have given us a lot to work with. Now, let me ask you something, because you were one of the founding, original members of the South Fulton City Council when it came into fruition. And looking at the city now and looking at where you would expect it to be and the county, is it becoming what you envisioned that it would become in the state of Georgia, being one of the largest cities?
It is. And let me tell you something. I have over 30 years of accounting experience. That's what I went to school for. And I will tell you, I've worked for many startup companies. Starting anything is always a challenge because there are many unknowns. And City of South Fulton is going on 9 years old. There's been a lot of challenges. One thing is that most of the people who were elected in the inaugural phase 2017, they had never been elected. We had to learn. We had to take classes. We had to be educated. And so I thank the residents for giving me an opportunity to grow in my role, to give me an opportunity to get things done in my district. In my district, we have invested in our parks and recreation. We did a $7 million pool renovation. We have a new gym in our facility. We have reimagined our tennis courts. Where I govern, it has the largest park and recreation facilities in the city, Walker Park, South Fulton Tennis Center. When we inherited a lot of our facilities, they were in disrepair. And so we had to figure out how to get funding to bring our facilities and our buildings back into repair. And so we have to invest a lot of money. We have to create an urban redevelopment authority, to raise money to restore our tennis courts. Recently, our pool was shut down for 3 years. We had to invest over $7 million. All of that was done under my leadership and because of my advocacy. When I got elected, our fire station was closed and blighted, and that is now open and reimagined and redeveloped. And most importantly, I worked with former Representative Marie Metz, and she gave us the ability to create TADs, tax allocation districts. So we do have 2 TADs in the city of South Fulton where we are looking to redevelop some of our commercial nodes, and one of the oldest commercial nodes in the city is Roosevelt Highway. And we have small businesses being created, new businesses, people who have grew up in this area now coming back, opening up businesses. Shout out to Dayton. He opened up Big Mama's yesterday breakfast spot, and he was raised in this community. And so we have our city is the fastest growing city, one of the fastest growing cities in the region, one of the cities with the most undeveloped land. And I would not only say our city, the region, South Fulton as a region, I will be representing 8 cities, one of the fastest growing regions in the metro Atlanta area, and it has the most undeveloped land. So we have room for a lot of opportunity, but what's hurting us is that we need more affordable housing. We need better health care access. We need our libraries modernized. And we need to make sure that we are incentivizing our employers to make sure that they are training and hiring our teams. I'm going to tell you, every year we have this teen job fair, Commissioner Arrington and I, we have over 500 kids to show up. Most of them are dressed, very professional. They have their resumes in hand. And we have about 20 employers that show up, and it's not enough jobs to hire our teams. And it breaks my heart every year. And last year, the county commission didn't have money in the budget for youth teen jobs, and Commissioner Arrington worked with Commissioner Khadijah Rahman, and they put it back in the budget. And that money is used to incentivize employers to hire our teams and create job programs for our teams. I'm very passionate about that because we can't lock our way out of trouble. We have to make sure that we're pouring into our youth and we're training them and we're giving them job skills so that, and these kids want to make an honest way of living. And so, I think that those are some of the programs I want to continue. I want to build on, but most importantly, making sure that we have more access to health care. Living in this region, we have, it takes 7 years off of our life expectancy because of the lack of.
Well, we got to get out. We got to get out the phone. So tell everybody your last parting statement in the next 30 seconds of why they should get out to the polls today and vote for Helen Zenobia Willis.
Thank you for having me. I need you to go to the polls today and vote for Helen Zenobia Willis because we need to send experience to the county commission to make sure that we get our equitable services here in Fulton County. I've been endorsed by 5 Fulton County justice partners, most of the General Assembly that touch our region, and more importantly, our mayor of South Fulton to go to the county commission and work for the people and bring our services. Thank you for having me. Go to the polls. Helen Zenobia Willis for the Fulton County 5th District Commissioner. All right,
and good luck, and you have a great day. All right, y'all, we're going to go to break and be right back on News and Talk WAOK.
News and Talk 1380 WAOK.